gonna do it again.
If you've had an accident or just a fender bender, the last thing you need to do is tangle with the big city. When Classic Auto Group Collision Center can take care of all your repairs, island style. Our certified technicians can repair any make or model, and we back up every repair with a lifetime warranty. Classic Auto Group Collision Center, now open at 6601 Harborside Drive. ClassicGalveston.com.
Classic Galveston, enjoy the difference. Island style.
Time for some Texas music talk with me, Josh Fuller, coming to you straight from the great state of Texas. Each week, our guests share their insights on the greatest music scene in the world, the Texas music scene. So get in, sit down, shut up, and hold on. It's time for the show. And we are here. We are live in the greatest state in the world. That is the state of Texas for sure. We got Randy Young in here and Sara Koenig from the Homegrown Tomatoes. She's the one that makes them, gives them work. Say hello to the people so we can check your microphone. We didn't even do that. We forgot to do that.
No, we sure didn't.
Say hi, Sarah.
Hey, y'all.
Oh, hey, y'all. I get
y'all.
it. Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Let's just
Bring
give
us
you
both up a little bit.
Give y'all a little more juice up here.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I like
right,
that.
I'm gonna
Now
pump
we're
you
up on par with you.
Yeah. Well, we can't have y'all, getting too much ahead of me there. But
Yeah.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody, and I hope your week's going good so far. At least the weather's been nice.
Oh man, it's
Spring
been
break?
off the hook.
Yeah,
Spring
that's
break?
spring break for most people. Is it for everybody?
Well, our side of town it is.
Usually, I'm used to New Waverly, and New Waverly, it was always like everybody would go spring break, and then everybody would come back, and then we get spring break and have nobody to hang out with. So it kind of always sucked. But we also kind of got two spring breaks. Because when Walker County Fair was in, all the kids basically got a week off because they were all in FFA and stuff, or 4-H or whatever it was.
Well, it's still the same way in Conroe. When the fair comes around in a month or so, it's all it's spring break again because all the schools come in and they get a day off at least from school, and they get brought to the fair.
To the fire.
Fire.
Yeah. All right. Well, were you in any of those groups in high school?
I wasn't.
Man.
I
See,
know.
but your country is a turnip green, but you didn't do all that.
I didn't do it.
So I know we've talked about your dad a bunch of times, but so you kind of got started in music by being just a fan of music, correct?
Right.
Yeah. And you've been a fan of music your whole life pretty much, right?
My whole life.
When was your dad was obviously already playing when you were a kid, huh?
No, well, growing up, my dad always worked for the railroad.
Right.
He just wrote songs and played it, just played at home, but he didn't actually play in a band until I was, not a kid anymore.
Okay, yeah. Well, I know when I met you and we were hanging out, and I met Dan, and then we would hang out in his shows or his open mics or whatever. Like, you knew every word to all the songs, and you'd get up there and sing, and there was a couple songs that I really thought was hilarious when you sang that we haven't. It's internet radio. We could play it, but I can't find it anywhere. I cannot find Weenie Dog to save my life.
It's on iTunes.
Is it?
It's on iTunes.
I don't know if it is or not, but how did he come to write that song?
This is a true story. I don't know. He has several like that aren't necessarily okay to play at some venues.
Well, I remember he played a whole bunch of times at Tuts, but then there was some other song that he played, and it had an F-bomb in it. And Sylvia come from behind the bar. No, sir. We do not sing songs that talk like that in this bar. This ain't that kind of bar. And I was like, but you sing along to every word of Weenie Dog.
I know that song that you're talking about. I think it had a little bit more to it than a few F-bombs.
Okay.
Maybe something derogatory or
Yes.
Well,
man, I am searching like crazy for that song. I'm gonna find it.
You keep searching.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, you have your dad. Tell us about your dad. I mean,
Dan Scott.
Yeah.
Dan Scott's daughter. That's usually how I get introduced to around.
No
here.
lie, you're in my phone as Sarah, Dan Scott's daughter.
Everybody. That's the first thing. Oh, you're Dan Scott's daughter. We love your dad. I love your dad. Just he's played my entire life. Always played guitars. Always wrote songs. Big singer songwriter.
Yeah.
And then he worked for the railroad and retired. And after his retirement, he started playing regularly in bands and doing open mics and
just putting himself
out there and just totally immersed himself into the whole Conroe music scene and he knows everybody. And
I think we've all met at some point in time, and me, you, John, it's kind of this. It's a big scene, but it's a really small world when it comes to everybody that comes up through here. Right. But you've gone on your own way. You have your own little retail business and all that good stuff.
She's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, for sure. And
it ain't your first venture either. You used to do custom furniture like I do. And you used to go to all the trade shows and all that.
Long time. Yeah. Got burned out.
So were you building stuff from? You were doing more restore stuff, right?
Restore and from scratch. I started out doing restore and then went from scratch and. We got burned out, Josh. So
no, it happens.
Good luck to you.
Oh no, I get burned out when people start telling me what to do. Here's the problem with me, and that is I will do anything as long as I'm the one that gets to say I do it, and I get to do it my way, and that's just the artistic brain in me. And so when it stops being fun is when people tell me how to do it. Whether it's music, whether it's woodworking, it doesn't matter. If I have the initiative and the dream in my head to do something, and then someone says, oh, you should do this and this and this and this, or make me one like that, but do it this way or that way, then all the fun is gone. Right. I'm no longer being an artist. I'm just doing what someone told me to do, and it's I hate that. Even at home, if I'm trying to surprise like my wife with something, like like the deck, I have a big old deck I built in the backyard, but if she would have come out and said, oh, can you do it this way and that way and that way and this way, then I would have just lost interest. I'm like, no. I mean, I would have probably done it, but I wouldn't have been proud of it. I like the fact that I just had the vision in my head and I did it. And
right.
I think that's the artistic side of me, though. It's prideful. My mom always told me that
we all get it.
Your pride's gonna kill you one day, boy. That's what my mom always said. She's probably right, but I don't know. No luck on finding that song, and I gave up when I caught myself typing in Dan Scott's Wiener.
Oh God!
So I am now no longer searching for that song.
I will find that song for you somewhere.
Yeah, I have to abandon search on that. That's not something in my history.
Yeah, there will be a late night radio show with all of those types of songs on it on the internet very soon. Trust me on this.
Oh, I don't doubt it. And it was funny when I made my own Spotify channel a long time ago with my first album, my Dirt and Diesel album, and I swear it wasn't but 2 or 3 songs in, and one of Dan's songs came on the Spotify chart. Like They linked us up together, and then it was like Captain Legendary Band and Dub Miller, all these guys that I've played with.
That's awesome.
So I'm like, how does Spotify know that? It's great. It's great, but it was also kind of weird, like. They know my history. This is kind of odd. Like, they know that Josh Fuller's played with these guys, too.
Yeah, they do.
So it's weird. But I like it because that made anybody searching for Dan Scott or Captain Legendary Band also can discover me. Mm-hmm. Same thing with people. People would text me and they said, oh, man, I was on Pandora station and I'm listening to your station. Everything's going well. And then a Luke Bryan song popped up. What the hell, man? I was like, you know what? I can't even be mad because that means somewhere on a Luke Bryan playlist, there's a Josh Fuller song being played. So... It is what it is. Right. I'll take it. I'll take a win wherever I can get it, for sure. But yeah. So I'm tired of looking up that song. I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm done.
Be done.
I'm just gonna have to
let it go. I'll find it.
I'm just gonna have to get somebody else to give it to me. But man, I'm trying to figure out where to begin on this. Sometimes the best place to begin is at the end, you know. But
but
we've had Caleb and the Homegrown Tomatoes in here a lot. Yeah. Or Caleb's been in here twice. Caleb's been in here twice. And Holscher, if anybody needs to know that, and he's told the story kind of from his perspective of how he got Sarah roped into managing him and booking him, and he's had a great couple of years because of your help. He really has, and also because he can back it up, and he goes out and he puts a hell of a show on, and people just love him. One thing that I find really cool about this area is that he can go and play 2 or 3 venues in a row in the same town and still draw a crowd, and they all come and have a good time. And that's a great sign.
Yeah.
It's a great sign. So I want to start, unless you want to talk more about your business and stuff, which we can get to anytime. But I just kind of want to start about you telling the story from your perspective of how he roped you into doing this. And we'll just kind of build from there.
Well, Caleb's another one that used to always come out to my dad's open mics. So I knew him from that. He'd come out and play with my dad. And then we started hanging out, and I'd run in when I opened my business in downtown Conroe. It's right there by the corner pub. And Caleb always plays he's always hanging out at the corner pub, playing other people's open mics. He hosts his own now, but he used to always be there, and we were both there one night. And later on through the night, after lots of drinking, lots of alcohol, he said, "Sarah, I need to talk to you. I want to tell you about this idea I have." And he said, "Come across the street and talk to me." So we walked across the street over to the courthouse, sat down on the bench, and he said, I've got this band started, and we've played a couple shows. They'd been playing, like Tuts in the corner pub and a couple little local shows in Conroe. And he said, I think they're really good, and I want to take them on a 16-day run to Colorado. I said, "Caleb, that's a terrible idea." and
that's insane.
I said, that is crazy. That's dumb, Caleb. And he said, "Well, why?" And I said, "Well, you've barely played Conroe. You haven't even conquered Conroe yet. You need to conquer Houston and Austin and Dallas, and then take them to Colorado." And he said, "Well, I don't know how to do that. Will you help me?" And so I said, "Sure," and kind of went from there.
I think wasn't there a couple more weeks of nagging that went on before you finally said yes?
It really wasn't. It was, it was kind of like a drunken just talk, and I told him his idea was dumb, and he said, "Well,
fix it."
Well, how do I not make it so dumb?
Right.
But then you roped him into doing the Redneck Idol and all sorts of stuff that he wasn't even suspecting, right?
Right.
Because I've heard it from everybody else in the band, and they weren't even expecting anything like that coming to them.
I saw the thing posted on RCC's website that they were going to start this competition, and they wanted submissions sent in. So I sent it out to the band, and then I said, "Look at this, guys! This is a great opportunity. Check out this prize package. It would be something fantastic."
Right.
And everybody's like, "Yeah, that's great. Let's do that." And I was like, "Okay, we need to get together and put a submission together." And everybody's like, "Okay." A couple of weeks go by. "Hey guys, the deadline's coming up. Let's do that submission." Yeah, we're on it. Another week goes by. "Hey guys." So it came down to the night before it was due. They hadn't done anything. Nobody had said a word about it. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. So I sat down and put together this little video and typed up this big old,
like little EPK kind of deal. Yeah,
put together a sales pitch, put a thing together and sent it off. Didn't tell him I sent it, just sent it. And then I took him to Belize for a 10-day, to play a 10-day gig.
I want to hear about that too later.
And why we were sitting by the pool late one night, I just happened to tap on my Wi-Fi and check my email, and they had sent an email that said, "Congratulations, you were picked."
All right.
So I got to.
So y'all drank a little more in Belize
drank a little bit more, broke the news to him, and said, "Hey,
is really cheap there."
By the way,
you know that submission I tried to get y'all to do forever. Well,
guess what? You have to go play in downtown Houston at one of the biggest spots,
and
or Stafford, but close enough.
It worked out. It turned out great.
Yeah, it did. It worked out really good, and I thought it was very creative. Getting the party bus, that's something that I would have. It's something I would have suggested if I'd been asked. And
thanks.
The party bus is great. Yeah, it's a good idea, and everybody was on board. How many people did y'all end up getting down there with y'all?
Oh, the bus held 62, and we pretty much filled that up and took the whole bus down there. Plus, the Holshers, Caleb's family is very extended. They came in from everywhere.
He was telling me about how pretty much wherever he plays, he's got family
Holshers.
that can show up.
Oh yes, it's great.
Another thing I wish I had,
he's got family
you
everywhere.
got to have that. That's good though.
It's fantastic, especially when they're on the road, because there's always a Holsher couch somewhere for them to crash on.
Right?
When we first started, when Adam Walker was first in my band as our bass player, for those of you who don't know or don't come to the shows, but Adam's family was this huge clique of people. It wasn't just the immediate family that had the Walker name, but they have this group of people out in Porter and Humble and all those areas over there. Just they're always at the Walker's house for barbecue on Sundays. I mean, and so when Adam first started playing, no matter where we played, we had a crowd, and we looked like we were the shit. It's like, yeah. And we've all gotten older now, and that group stays home a lot. But for a while, it was like
that's how
you knew no matter where you went, you're gonna get them. Like we'd play not Pasadena. Dang it, I forget it every time. It doesn't matter. But anywhere, but we could go pretty far away and still have a nice group of people that would go, and it was just, they were younger and drinkers, and they've all grown up now and have families, and they're not drinkers anymore or whatever, but it is okay. We just got to find new drinkers.
Yeah, well, they're still drinkers, they just do it at home.
Right. True. They do it at home, not in a hot tub at a seedy motel at 3 a.m.
Exactly.
But enough about Caleb and his band. No. So, I didn't realize that you had kind of like, I'm doing it for him. Then that's pretty ballsy. That's pretty cool. Good idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, I remember the interview with Caleb and stuff. I was not here. I was at home, but I was listening and all that. And he was saying that they didn't really realize that you had done that.
No,
and
I don't.
They knew about it.
They knew about it, but I couldn't ever get them to.
I talked to Fred and all of that, and they were just. And Fred's still kind of a little bit bewildered about the whole thing,
It's great,
and it's awesome.
It was great. So much. It opened up so many opportunities for them, and they got they opened for Boland, and they opened for Cody Canada, and they just opened for Pat Green.
Yeah.
All of that stuff kind of came from that.
And they're getting booked in all these other venues around the state.
Yeah, you've gotten to play Green Hall twice now, right?
Green Hall twice.
Hey, that's
where are they this
check
weekend?
one off that list, right?
They're playing. They're actually local this week. They're playing Hideaway in Houston, and then Lobella's at Crosby, and then they're playing Woody's in Galveston on Sunday.
That's cool.
Finishing off spring break on Sunday on the beach.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool. On the beach.
Yeah, hey, with all of the,
I hope the weather
spring
holds
breakers.
up. Yeah,
I hope so too.
Pretty awesome.
Galveston spring break is no, that's not spring break. I'm sorry.
My dad told me
I
when
grew up in Florida, so
my dad told me when I was a teenager. He said you need to go to South Padre Island for spring break, and I was like, well, why? He's like, trust me, son. Every man should go to South Padre Island. Yeah. until they get married. Like they should go.
Don't ever go again.
And I never went. Oh,
it was
Crystal Beach Crystal Beach, and then Surfside. Yeah, Surfside. Surfside, where they start bonfires with marijuana, is awesome. But that's about as crazy as I got.
I grew up on Panama City Beach, Florida. So
right.
In the 70s and 80s. So spring break for me is, you can only imagine. The stories.
I've never experienced that, but
it's gone downhill from there. But back in the 70s and 80s, it was just a crazy, crazy place. And the bands that would come and play there, you would have a great variety of music, everybody from local bands or regional bands or people from Texas or, whatever weekend it was for the spring break, be it Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Mississippi, wherever that week of spring break was, because it was 10 weeks long. So every week you'd have a different group come in, and then you have different bands come in. So that's kind of where I learned my love of music from all over the place. We'd have all these small regional bands or state, even some local bands even that were really good. They'd come in and they would just, put on one hell of a show, and it'd be just a whole lot of fun. And all the students that were, enjoying their vacation, they had a little taste of home.
Nice.
That's always a good thing. You got to have that. So I think I'm ready to take our
little
first
pause
break.
for the cause.
Yeah, a little pause for the cause here.
Try to pay a bill.
Or well,
we need sponsors.
I'll be happy to pay bills. We just gotta get some collectors up in here.
Most definitely.
But anyway, yeah, y'all hang tight. We're gonna open this conversation up even more and get back out into the weeds where that's where I have my most fun.
Certainly.
It's kind of lying I am, but yeah, we'll be right back in just a minute.
Relax, enjoy the difference at Classic Galveston.
Hi, I'm Howie Bentley, owner of Classic Auto Group Galveston, inviting you to the classic way of doing business, which means the customer always comes first. Need service after the sale? We've got you covered with our service parts and body shop. Let us cater to your needs the classic way, island style. Visit us at ClassicGalveston.com.
Classic Galveston, enjoy the difference, island style.
in your honky tonk heart. Dim lights, big smoke, and loud music is the only kind of life that you will ever understand. Dim lights, big smoke, and loud ass music. You will never, ever, 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 ever make a wife to a home loving man. Thank you. This next song is one that actually wrote on my way into San Antonio to go to a show, Leon Springs Dance Hall. Back in 1994, actually. It was before I made Live at 8 Airs. It's a song about attitude and driving.
How many people here had parents? How many people had parents? Should be most of you, yeah? Anybody else's dad make weird noises? Doesn't my dad, honestly, when he's in the bathroom, it sounds like songs of the humpback whale. Are you okay, Dad? We got Greenpeace at the front door. Knock it off. And my dad, he can tell some filthy jokes, too. Make the dog gag jokes, yeah. My dad can tell jokes in a truck stop. Truckers are going, hey, 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 there's mechanics in here. You want to watch your mouth? And my Mama, she's a sweetheart of a lady. She just comes up with some goofy-ass questions. Growing up, this was one of her favorite ones. Did I raise you in a barn? I'd go, no. No. My brother would start laughing. She'd go, what's so funny? He'd say, nothing. Remember when your mom would say this one? Shut the door. I'm not going to heat up the neighborhood. Not in that bathrobe, you're not. I didn't know she could throw a waffle iron that far. Your dad ever run over your bicycle? My dad run over my bike 5 times. 5th time he did it, I crawled out from under the car and went, Dad, get the car out of the backyard, how about it? And when you were a kid, it didn't matter if you got hurt. You knew you could run home crying. Mom would be there with those sympathetic, loving words. I hope you're satisfied. You're in a pool of blood. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied right now. Wish you could join me. One night I was about 8 years old. I got up in the middle of the night to go get a glass of water. And I walked past my parents' bedroom and I heard those noises going on in there. I couldn't resist the temptation to walk up, knock on their door, and go, Mom, I hope you're satisfied.
I figure we give y'all a little comedy relief there, Mr. Jeff Foxworthy. Thanks to Randy for
coughing in the mic. Sorry.
Coughing into the
My
microphone.
apologies. I didn't turn away quick enough.
That's all right. I'm fixing to make a lot of noise because I'm tired of not being able to see y'all.
Yeah, turn your butt around, man. Finally, after how many episodes now?
We are up to number 17 now.
Yeah,
And now I
so
can see you.
See
Sort of.
And
but I got to make it sounds like the thunder roll.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, my mic doesn't do that.
so we were talking about some fun, interesting stuff off the mics here, and we can get into some of it or we can get into none of it. It doesn't matter to me. But I want to talk about. So you started being a manager for a band with no experience being a manager for a band. So what are some things that you learned the hard way?
Growing pains.
Let's talk about some growing pains.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you took a band that you went out and heard, and they talked to you, and you kind of knew them a little bit, and
I knew Caleb. I knew Caleb really well. The rest of the band, I barely knew at all. And so it took it. Now they're my family. I adore and love each of them dearly. But when I first started, it was Caleb going to them and saying, "Guys, she's going to be our manager, and I trust her." And they they were kind of reserved with it at first, but now, they trust me, and that's kind of what works with us. I can tell them, "You're going here, you're doing this," and they don't question me at all. They go where I and they just do it. They trust me, and we work that way.
And it's a whole bunch of different people. I mean,
there's 5 of them.
Because I've met Fred, many times, and we've had a lot of conversation. He's a northerner, and I mean, he's from Pittsburgh, and
blues man.
Blues guy, and on the opposite side of the spectrum from what would be normally politically acceptable, and to the rest of them. But he fits in, and he does a great job, and he's a really good guy. And I mean, but to get that mesh of people together and make them a band and be able to, you're selling that product,
right? There, it's trust. It's a lot of trust.
Yeah, it's a lot of trust. Yeah. I had in the past, I've had several people that have wanted to be like, "Hey, I'm going to help you. I'll do whatever," and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, man, come on," And the band always is skeptical. They're like, "Well." Why do we need someone to come and tell us how to be a band? That kind of deal. And then there was only one of them that actually came in. It was kind of funny because she came in, and I wanted to trust her. She had some great, let's just say, acquaintances in the business that I thought, man, she convinced me that she had the experience necessary to do this. And so she starts coming to the shows, and at first it was pretty cool. She just, everything was like, "Okay, what can I help you do? Look, I'll set up merch, and I'll do this or whatever. Do you have your set list?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She'd call me on the way to the show. "Do you need anything?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I need some tea from Starbucks." And she'd grab tea, and she'd bring it, happy to do it, And I was just like, man, this is really cool. And we were playing one show, though, one time, and we had a new player, and I don't remember I think it was a bass player, and this was before Adam Walker. I think it was before Adam. It may have been after Adam. It may have been Adam. And he was still learning the music, so he had a music stand up on the stage with the sheet music in there. And she walked up, she grabbed the music, and she said, "No, sir. We do not have music stands on stage. This is ridiculous. Act like you've been there before." And she took it, and he just looked like, "What the hell?" And I was just like, "I don't know, dude, but yeah, it does kind of look kind of cheesy to have a music stand on stage." So
that's a huge pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, so maybe go ahead and just put your music somewhere else, dude, and we'll get through this, But
put it on the floor.
But yeah, it was funny because she was just kind of like, the more you gave her, the more she took, and it was fine for a while, but it just then just things fizzled out.
Yeah, it goes downhill from there.
She was excited for a while, and when she's excited, she was doing well, but once the excitement was lost and the new wore off, she was kind of like, "Meh."
Yeah, the whole thing it's been a learning experience for me and for the band. I mean, like I said, they were so new, starting out, and I was new, and we just kind of we grew together.
Right.
They learned, I learned, we learned together, and I trust them, and I can send them anywhere and trust that they're going to do awesome and do their job, and they trust me to send them to
wherever,
to wherever,
Green Hall,
to take care of
anything
them.
else,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And wait, Randy, I had to unplug you for a second. We got static in your line. Sorry, I was trying to give you a warning over there.
Yeah,
but now I got to run the board here, and you can't fill in for me. See what happens? Hold on.
I know.
Technical difficulties.
There you go. Try that.
Well, I probably have this whole spool of cable on the floor.
Right. Yeah. I think we got it now. I think whatever.
That's much better.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I just want to make sure that the people listening at home in their bathtubs get the full experience, and they're not.
Sometimes
hearing
there's some
static.
technical difficulties, but
Yeah, but we got it. We got it under control. Sorry. So, where were we before I so rudely interrupted you?
I done forgot that we were talking about.
But no, but the trust thing is a big deal, and
yeah.
then they have to trust that your ideas will work. And then you have to kind of trust yourself that, well, if I'm going to say that it's going to work, it better work. You know,
Yeah.
kind of like the submitting for the RCC.
RCC.
I mean, you just kind of had to go for it because your gut told you to. And that's, if you're able to listen to your gut and then have the courage to do it, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, good things work out.
Me and Caleb work great that way. Like, he bounces ideas off of me all the time. He comes to me with some crazy ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and I support him, I help him try and achieve his ideas. And the same thing with he listens to my crazy ideas. We just we're a team. We work well together.
Right. That's good. And sometimes supporting somebody is loving them enough to say, dude, that's stupid.
Right.
You know?
That's how it all started.
And it needs to be that way, though. It's good that y'all can have that relationship.
Certainly, that's the root of it. Being able to be honest and. I know I can hear that too, and I don't know where that's coming from this time around because that's never happened before. But it's a little static. Just kick the pile of cords around for a little while, and maybe it'll stop.
All right.
But are they doing anything out at South by Southwest that's coming up right now?
We're not doing South by Southwest. No, we had an opportunity to, but we didn't go on.
That's cool. That's cool.
Not this time around. They're getting ready to go into the studio and do an album, their first full-length album.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
And they're still working on that live recording they got.
They got the live recording from Redneck Country Club,
yep.
part of the prize package.
And that's Sean with Circle O is doing it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to come out good.
I know. We're excited.
It'll be real cool. I really wanted to be the first band to do a live recording there, and then it just didn't work out. But it's a great place to do one for sure.
It is fantastic.
No, they have a great system in there, and I mean the setup that they have is, it's top notch.
Oh yeah, and they're top notch guys.
It's a big venue. It's wide open, and
did y'all do the recording inside or outside?
We did it inside.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the inside's the only place to do it. The outside, yeah, there might be a truck going by.
That's true, man. But that outside stage, maybe because
I love the outside stage.
The
it's
vibe
fun.
is just the vibe is amazing.
Right.
Speaking of, somehow I went from having no shows on the books for RCC to having 2 in a row. So we're going to be playing there March 27th and April 20th.
Good.
Yeah.
That's 2 more than we have right now.
Hey, man, I'm happy.
Hey, so Michael needs to call into the damn show, all right?
Oh yeah, Michael, will you call my show? I don't think. No, I don't think CBS will let me do that.
Yeah, he will.
Or iHeartMedia. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
iHeartMedia.
They're gonna go broke soon anyway.
No, man. Well, once they catch wind of this show, maybe. I mean, this is obviously riveting stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I won't go into the business of radio and how much they owe.
No. I do think that podcasting and internet radio definitely has a bright future.
It
for
certainly
sure.
does, and I know with the new band like that you have, and they're still fairly new. I mean, we've known them for a while, but how do you make money in the radio business and all of that? And I know this is going to get Josh's goat because we were talking about this a little bit beforehand.
You have to have money to make
You
money.
have to, yeah.
But
you've got to have.
You have to have some money to make money, and you don't know, but I have a lot of Nashville guys that I've dealt with over in the video end and in some of the music end over the years, and I know how they make money or have traditionally made money in the business. Now it's a lot different, and it's really hard.
It is so
just
hard.
to sell music and make money, and most of our Texas music scene relies upon merchandising and selling either CDs, hats, caps.
Now hats, you can sell a hat.
You can sell
People
a
love
hat,
it, but they're also expensive to buy.
but the profit margin is
on a hat is
very
small.
slim.
It's
Just
very
like
small.
Right.
you owning a retail store, you know
I
what
know.
those margins are. You know what that markup is for when you buy wholesale or you buy gross.
Wholesale. You said wholesale.
Wholesale.
What wholesaling you stuff? Good Lord.
Yeah, that chick on 23rd. But anyway, you know what I mean? You go to
Right.
market, you
I
buy a
do.
product, and you buy gross, that's 144, and you got to figure out how to sell them and make a dollar off of
But
all of that.
That's business in general. What's weird is trying to think of an analogy that would work. But so for your business, if and you're selling these clothes or whatever, you spend your money to get your inventory. You spend your money on your rent and your electricity, your bills, and you got all that stuff, right? The same thing that every business person has.
Right.
But then all of a sudden someone shows up and says, I don't know, if you want to sell on this street, if you want to open your door and sell on this street, you have to pay me a fee to promote your
or just
stuff.
be allowed to.
Yeah, if you want to have a sign out in your front door or whatever. And then it's a terrible analogy, but basically the thing with music is that makes it hard is you have the talent and you spend your money on the album and then you want to get out there, but there's so many of us out there trying to get our music on the radio that you have to get a promoter if you want to be seen. You really do.
You do.
And so by the time it's all said and done, now you've I'm not going to say the number because I don't want to ruin it for everybody, but you drop a huge chunk of change.
It's more than cost to make the album.
Right. You drop a huge chunk of change for one song. And now you're in it. So if you're in it to win it, you got to stay relevant. So you got to continue to do it.
Continue dropping
It's
huge.
it's the same as having a gambling habit. You got to ante up if you want to play, and if you can go all in, but if you don't win, you're out. You got to stand up and cheer for the other guys.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've all, me and the guys that I've been working with, and we've been trying to figure out a way around. And does it always work? No, we haven't figured out the formula yet. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
You tell me.
I would tell you, but
tell me.
not on the air.
No, today you have to find new ways. It's a digital age, and it's an internet age, and it's video, and it's all that.
It's a crazy
to build it
amalgamation of everything that's out there today, and we have to bring music into that scenario from what it is. I mean, we're all, we're not all spring chickens here, and
Sarah's a spring chicken.
Yeah, she's a lot younger than the rest of us.
Me and Randy ain't.
Well, I mean,
but we
all understand what vinyl is, and we understand what record sales were, and what record companies were, and all of that in the business. Now that is not the business.
No.
That is not a model that we can follow or do anything with. We need to figure out a way that music can sell from the artist, writers, producers, direct, whatever the case may be. Everybody needs to get a nickel off of it, or whatever the case may be.
You got to take the music to where the people are,
right,
and try to figure out a way around all those
and to monetize
avenues.
that stuff.
Yep.
And Caleb and them are in that whole scenario.
Yep.
They did an EP, and that did pretty well. I mean, I know I put my $10 down on when they came in, and they won, and they showed up at the corner pub. I was there, and I bought my copy and everything else. And
Randy's a super fan,
That's
by the
great.
way.
yeah, well, I
love
wouldn't
it.
say I'm a super fan, but
You are a super fan of music that you like, though, because
Yeah.
once you start showing up to a show, you're gonna see him again and again.
Yeah,
and again,
you'll see me, and just like I mean, if you notice on my Facebook feed, there was a picture of Folk Family Revival from 5 years ago from
Great.
the
Southern
anniversary parties of Southern
Southern
Star.
Star.
I mean, I've been going there forever, and I've known those guys forever, and I've watched them, I've followed them, and enjoyed their music, and watched their journey and what they've done as musicians, and trying to learn from them on how this business works. Because
They're
it's
good
crazy.
ones. I call them constantly for advice. They're some of my go-tos when I have questions and whatever. I reach out to them.
It's good to have that. You got to have that. One thing, going back to what you were talking about, so we got to take the music to the people instead of trying to rely on the radio. And this isn't a new concept. Underground music's been around forever. Right?
Certainly.
But with the internet age, the way it is, It's only going to get bigger, and it's a lot easier now, I guess, to be underground than it used to be. Used to be you had to have all your tapes or your whatever, and
or CBGBs or
dubbed
someplace
them,
in New York.
Yeah,
and
your people in college are running around just hey man. And I remember still having getting mixtapes from of all the rap music back in the day, you know, and you'd go to a little shady gas station. There's this dude out there, hey man, I got some Gucci Crew and 2 Live Crew. Come on, man.
Some 2 Live Crew.
And that's where
Miami Live.
I remember buying a mixed CD, and that's where it had like Afro Man and From the Window to the Wall and all that other stuff on it. And you can still do that back in the day, but which is bad because that's just as bad as downloading it for free off the internet.
Yeah,
but actually, except as you paid your money, but that dude made money off of music that wasn't even his.
But
you know?
that music wasn't available on traditional.
Right, you couldn't hear it on the radio.
No, you couldn't
and
hear 2 Live Crew
iTunes wasn't
or,
a thing,
or Afro and all
it's
those
all word
guys.
of mouth. It's all word of mouth.
So they
Napster.
relied upon that. So you went to live show when they came to your town,
right?
And that's where they made their money. And that's kind of how Texas music works.
That's kind of what me and my drummer were talking about one night was, and I'm not the first one to talk about it. I admit that I kind of am inspired by a podcast I heard many years ago by Phil Pritchett about it. But the allure of artists is gone. Like, we are not some unattainable, unseeable thing. Like an artist, if you want to see an artist in any element, you just Google them. And it's like, oh, okay, there's whoever, and he's on a canoe fishing with his family this weekend. Oh, look, he got caught with a stripper in Havana, or whatever. I mean, we're so accessible now. And used to, you would sit in line for a week camping just to get tickets. And the band you're going to see, their album cover had some weird picture on it. It didn't have them. You didn't even know what they looked like unless they've been in Rolling Stone. And then you get the ticket, and then you camp out because you don't want to be late. So then you camp out again for the show, and then you go into the show and you spend your money, do all this stuff. You put in 2 weeks of your time, and you don't even know what these people look like until the curtain comes up. And then boom, you're blown away, and you're just all the emotions of everything. And now it's just like you can go find 1,000 pictures of anybody.
Certainly.
You know? And so that, how do you recapture that part of the entertainment business? Because that's the part that's diluted. The part of just being like really wowed by, holy cow, that's a superstar. Like when Chris LeDoux's riding a bucking bronco on stage, kind of.
Yeah, Chris LeDoux had that shit.
Yeah, now you see people up there and they've all got the lights and everything, and it's I don't know. There's the thing that's missing, I think, is just that I said allure too many times. I don't have to just say that one again.
It's not the allure,
but the mysticism, just this whole like, what are they? Who are they? What do they do? What are we gonna? And now it's just kind of like, oh, it's just another dude. He's up there jamming out, man. You know, just like he was last week. I watched his live Facebook feed. You know,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, how do you stand out in today's world from the rest? And if you don't have the money backing to really promote your music and stay relevant and put a single out every 3 months, and trust me, folks, that's expensive. Unless you have the old saying, if you want to make $1 million in music, start with $2 million. You know, but
so how do you, as a manager, think about that kind of stuff and bringing a band forward and getting them and getting that excitement built for them to, move forward? I mean, the only band I can think of right off the top of my head that had an allure, like you said, was like Turnpike Troubadours.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They came out with some songs that kind of fell in line. And
their sound was so different.
And the sound was different. They had something original that they could rely upon, and there was no visuals from them other than, I mean, even online when you go back and you look at some of the videos that were first out, there was no visuals of the band themselves. It was just all, audio, stock footage, or stuff like that. So they purposely kept their images back, and they're just a bunch of old Texas guys. They're all hippies and stuff. And it's all good. We know what they look like. I mean, you can kind of imagine it, but it left something for the imagination, is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
how you keep that allure and that imagination in people to drive them to come and see.
Well, I'll tell you, with Caleb, you just don't know if he's going to wear a shirt under his vest.
Or if he's going to wear a kilt.
Or a kilt, or if he's going to be bare-skinned.
Well, certainly. I mean, there's a little bit of craziness there.
No, but I'm being funny, but I do want to know, like, have you already thought of those things, or have we just unloaded like this whole new level of pressure and stress on you?
Have we opened your eyes, or have you thought about this?
A little both.
A little. No, we they don't have a whole lot of video and stuff out there right now. We just had a meeting about that aspect this past week, actually, needing to get more videos and things out there, because there's
I know a guy, Cut and Shoot Studios, Randy Young, here in the house. Yeah.
We're I think we're gonna do some amp.
Okay.
Go on. That's coming up.
Go live.
Yeah, we are.
And then you can have it.
We are. We're gonna do some amp lives come in April, but yeah, we don't have a lot of visuals. We have a few things from the Redneck from RCC that they put out, and then just our friends doing Facebook lives and stuff like that. But as far as there's not a lot.
We did a little bit of Facebook Live with them over at
Yard House.
Venue Yard House, and so that's out there. But y'all really haven't had that much.
No, they don't.
And I think that like we were talking about, I think that kind of drives that draw to come in and see them perform. You can hear them.
You hope so. That's the thing. It's
and so
you don't know
where's that line at, and then that's what everybody's trying to figure out.
If you give people too much at home, then they don't have to come to the show. But
Caleb's an entertainer, though. I don't know if y'all have seen him live.
Certainly.
He's very charismatic. He's very entertaining on stage. He dances, and he captures people's attention, and you're drawn to him and watching him, and he's just entertaining to watch, and that's a lot of where our fan base comes back. They follow him and come out and watch him.
That's the reason, that's the reason
he puts on a good show.
That's the reason I like old Kevin Russell with Shiny Ribs.
Exactly.
Same reason, because
it's a great
he's
show.
Fun to watch.
The first time you see, you're like, what the hell is he trying to? This is pretty cool, actually. This is kind of funny.
Exactly.
What's he going to do next? Yeah,
it's the same thing with Caleb.
Well,
you never know what he's going to do.
And it goes back to great showmanship.
Right.
I mean, Johnny Lee,
stage presence,
got to meet him on a couple of occasions. I took my wife out for our anniversary to a show, and 50 years later, I mean, he's been on stage for 50 years. He still puts on a great show. Mickey Gilly, all these guys still put on a solid show, can capture the attention of the crowd and bring them in and entertain somebody.
Right. Well, you got to be able to connect, man.
Yeah.
You got to find somebody to connect to, and if nothing else, if the crowd's not digging it, there's always going to be at least somebody that is. And you find that person and start entertaining for that person, you'd be surprised how you're sitting there trying to give them the best show of their life, and all of a sudden everybody else starts paying attention to the show you're putting on. Because you've done it. You stepped up your game for that one person, and now everybody's enjoying it.
And that's what a lot of the younger generation, I think, doesn't understand, and maybe hasn't seen with the music or whatever, that it's a show. It's entertainment. It captures you. It lets you go someplace else, forget about all the crap that you've got going on in life, and you get to focus on the music and those people that are, talking to you in whatever way, whatever music that it is, but they're talking to you in some way, and you're connecting with them on some level.
That's what music's supposed to do. That's the whole point of it.
That's what it truly is.
Right.
But a lot of the younger generations, I don't see where necessarily that's coming across to them.
No.
Well, I wanted to say this that I thought of because y'all got in such great conversation. Good job on that.
I tried. I got a little deep. Sorry.
I need more Maker's Mark. But no, what I was going to say was, speaking of Phil Pritchett.
Oh yeah.
And I know that not everybody in hearing my voice right now knows who Phil Pritchett is, but to me, he was a huge deal. He produced my album. He was just a great guy. He inspired me to be an entertainer and all that in Texas music. But one thing that he did different from everybody else was, this was in the infancy of iTunes and all that and Spotify. He sold his whole albums on his own website. And so he would sell them cheap too. You could buy a whole album for like $4. Now, if you go to iTunes and you spend 10, guess what the artists are getting? About $4 or $5. So he just eliminated them out of it altogether, and he would sell his albums. Now, he also had put in his work. He had quite a fan base. It made sense to do that. It didn't cost him anything to put it on there, right? It's digital music. So, and he had his own studio, and so he was able to make his own music and all that. But when he published it to the online world, it didn't take anything for him to do that, and he was able to sell his own albums. And he had one that was live from Corpus Christi. I think it had like 24 tracks on it.
Wow!
And he sold that one for $12. And then every now and then he'd have a special on his. He'd send an email out and be like, "You can get every album in my library for $15 this month."
Yeah.
And so he had complete control of his album sales. Now, what you miss out on is people can stumble upon you on iTunes or stumble upon you on Spotify and all that. So you miss out on that. But if you do both, you can have your iTunes and your Spotify, so you're doing your due diligence, so hopefully people find you. But then you have your own website and you have your own music there. You're like, and you can say, I don't know, what do you want?
Well,
Stick it to the man and buy straight here from us. You know?
The problem with that is iTunes and Spotify and all of those venues or those platforms to sell your music on, they require you not to sell and compete with them in your album sales.
I have never seen that checkbox, and I've never marked it. So
you'll get a phone call.
Well, I'll tell them that I own my music. No, and if that may be true, but I don't think that would stick in court. So
it probably doesn't, because I've known a few, like Chuck Cannon. His stuff's all over God's green earth, and he sold millions and millions of records. And he still, he handed me his entire collection and said, "Here you go, have a nice day." So, great. Play it as you will.
We'll take a break here in a second, but one thing I was going to talk about, because this has been it's a good topic to discuss because of the overexposure and all that junk. So whenever I released my second album, I paid people to give me advice. Okay, and I also made a couple trips to Nashville, talked to a few people that some were important, some were not, and they all gave me advice. And every one of them's advice is basically be everywhere at once. Be on Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and just be everywhere. You want it everywhere. YouTube has, they create a channel the second my album was released, and now you can hear my whole album for free on YouTube automatically. But since it's streaming fees, then it's not free and they're not stealing it from me, right? So you're everywhere at once. But then you're overexposed, and now you're saying, well, where's the allure at? And they're like, no, it's on you. You got to figure out a way to get in these people and be different. How can I be different when I'm doing what you told me and every other person that wants this advice? There's got to be something. I've had an idea.
That's $1 million question,
I know.
Man.
Well, everything ebbs and flows, right? Obviously, things change, things come, things go. There's different, Texas music 20 years ago.
It's not
was amazing. Yeah. And now we are where we are, and I'm not saying anything bad about the music or the scene, but I'm saying where it was then, just from my personal taste, just the style of music was really cool too. But you could still make money then. Yeah. You could still. They were sending thousands and thousands of copies across overseas of physical CDs. And tapes still then, And now I go to a show and I'm like, hey guys, I'm new in town. Take a CD. It's free. Just take it. But you have
a young lady that will sell some CDs for you.
Oh, that little girl can sell some CDs now.
You need her at Caleb's shows.
We do.
Yes, you do.
And she'll do it as long as she gets paid. She's gonna give her percentage.
She's gonna get paid, but
I give her 20. I give her 20%. Man, she sells no less than $300 worth of CDs and merch.
Wow!
Like at Pacific,
every time
at Pacific
on a Wednesday night,
sell it. Or at a Ransoms on a Tuesday, she can sell me $300 worth of CDs. That little girl is a beast.
She is killer.
Yeah. So yeah,
kudos to you, girl.
Yeah, for sure. She would be happy to do it. And she's trying to save money for something, and she's only like Oh, I can't remember how old she is now. She's like maybe 11.
11, 12.
They're-
Yeah.
Yeah, and she is but she has figured out how to do perfect makeup now.
Yeah.
So she has this face of like this
15.
18-year-old girl with
15,
the
yeah.
cute little 12-year-old eyes that look up at you, and you're just like, okay, I'll buy it. I don't know.
Here's my money.
What am I
take
doing?
it.
But and she just made the cheerleading squad, so her and her sister are both on cheerleading. So yeah.
So that's awesome.
But yeah, she is full of bubbles, like bubbles and sunshine. That's all she is. And
But
she
she
will
knows
sell
what she's doing in a crowd.
Oh yeah. So do you know Lloyd Sandifer?
Yes.
Okay, so she was working merch or selling CDs at Fire Up the Bands a couple years ago. It may have even been last year, and she had run into Lloyd like a couple times already that day. But she walked up to him, and he, you know, she was kind of like right in his face, and she said, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Lloyd." "Lloyd, I've been looking for you." He's like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah. What are you looking for me for? Would you like to buy a CD?" It's just like, wow, this girl's got game. It's awesome. It's really awesome. Yeah, no, she can sell some. Definitely sell some hell out of some CDs.
Yeah, she can.
But
it's fun. All right, so
you got to have that. But yeah, otherwise I can't give them away.
on.
I can't
Yeah.
give them away. Oh yeah, the computer went to sleep.
Yeah,
That's
the
beautiful.
computer went to sleep, so you can find the right button to push.
Well,
and
then say something.
well, I am. I'm talking
Okay,
right now,
talk.
so I'm going to ask Sarah about her business that's in downtown Conroe, and that's I know it's couture. Is it
Cowtown.
Cowtown couture?
Yeah.
I didn't want to say the wrong things. I'm
You're
so
right.
sorry.
Most people
'cause
say
there's-
couture wrong.
Yeah,
They get the Cowtown part right.
Yeah, or cowboy couture.
Yeah, it's whatever.
There's
Same thing.
There's several of them. I
There's
mean,
several.
don't get me. I know you got competition and stuff like that, but you sell a great merchandise in there, and you're right in downtown Conroe. You have a radio station across the street that does not air our program, but you also do some stuff with the Crichton Theater.
Sounds of Texas.
Yeah, Sounds
Yeah.
of Texas and all
with
of that.
With the Friends of Conroe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do. The Sounds of Texas is a it's part of the Friends of Conroe, which is a nonprofit downtown.
Right.
Well, they're all of Montgomery County, not necessarily
Mm-hmm.
downtown, but Sue puts on the Catfish Festival, and they also do the Sounds of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a music series at the Crichton Theater. Last year, I believe, was the 20th year that we had it,
Right.
and some great shows.
Oh, I know you had Mickey Gilly there a couple months back, and
Mickey Gilly wasn't part of the Sounds of Texas,
he
but
wasn't?
no,
Oh,
he did
okay.
play the
Yeah,
play the theater, but it
yeah.
wasn't part of ours.
Oh,
But
okay.
we've
They were
had
supposed to have B.J. Thomas with Josh Fuller, but that got rained out.
Oh, yeah.
Harvey.
Yeah.
He's rescheduled for June.
I've heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
you
had
need to hit that up.
Guy
I think
Clark.
Guy
Clark's played
Yeah.
it a few times.
Yeah.
God, so many good people.
Caleb opened when Guy Clark played, right? Or who did Caleb open for? Or played
Ricky Skaggs.
Ricky Skaggs. Okay, yeah, that's an
That's
awesome show too.
Yeah, we've had some big
They've
names
had
through
some
there.
big names through
Vince
there.
Gill has played it.
Yeah, Vince.
Awesome. I'd love to play with Vince.
Yeah.
I
Did he
played
bring
show
Amy or whatever? I got some friends we'll talk about later off the air.
I've heard some stories about Amy's and her first husband. But anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Keep talking. I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
no, it's
I mean,
all
it's
right,
just
so-
my show. I didn't mean to interrupt y'all, though. No, I'm just kidding.
But
I'm not that arrogant, damn it.
The Conroe music scene in general,
It's
there's
booming.
so much going on here.
It's booming.
It really is.
Screw Houston, and even in the Woodlands with all that mess. I mean, yes, we have the Pavilion, which is a
Right.
great venue, and I would put that in my top 5 list in the world. You know, as far as a venue to go to see a concert. But when you want to hear some great music in close quarters,
Come to
in
Conroe.
Conroe, Texas. I mean,
It's fantastic. They got the Crichton, they have their shows, but occasionally there's a concert there. But on any given night, you could go to the Corner Pub, you could go to Red Brick Tavern, you could go to Pacific Yard House and see the best music in town.
Especially Wednesday night. You can go
Especially
to Pacific
Wednesday.
Yard House and see
hear
me.
Josh Fuller. Yeah.
Pacific, they
They're bringing a lot of bands in from Austin and a lot of
Everywhere.
bands and trying to
Right.
bring some other influences
He's not trying to
into-
make it another honky tonk. He's
No.
trying to make it a more eclectic.
he's done a fantastic
variety
job.
job,
I have so much respect for that guy. He's done a lot. He's brought in some incredible talent. He's trying to What do I
he's
say?
trying to influence or bring in.
He's trying to bring us some
influence in music.
texture.
Yeah,
He's trying to give us a little bit of
some
texture.
new stuff.
because Texas music, or what we consider maybe Texas country music, is not just Texas country music.
Well, that's
it's
why
Americana and everything else.
The country part got dropped a long time ago. They start calling it Texas music
because Caleb's not country by any means, but they're Americana, they're folk,
Right.
they're
Right,
this
there's a
whole
little blend of all of it. A little bit
Just
of blues, a
some-
little bit of southern rock.
you know, something different, something
Yeah.
than the same old that's
and
everywhere.
they're great entertainers, and they're bringing
It's
those
fantastic.
entertainers in, not just there, but in in the corner pub and everything else. And then when we do have events downtown, we have Catfish Festival, we have all these different festivals that bring in all sorts of bands. You get your Texas country, you get your Kevin Fowlers and all of that,
Right.
but we also have all these other bands that come in and play and tour through, and it's getting better and better and better and better. It used to be, 25 or 30 years ago, it used to be off the hook, and we're just getting back to that now.
I mean, Pacific has helped that leaps and bounds
lot.
a lot. The talent they've brought through there is, he's done a great job.
Yeah, and I enjoy playing there for sure, and I think that they're all good people.
They're
And
fantastic. They're some of the best people I have.
And it's a nice
huge
venue to
respect
play
for
in,
all of them.
and everybody that's there, and you got the train that rolls by. And,
Dollar Jello
Dollar
shots.
Jello
Yeah.
No, I do think that, and maybe on weekends they're better about it, but on Wednesdays, I think they don't draw enough attention to that. Maybe they just haven't made the Jello shots yet. I don't know.
It is Conroe. It is Monkey County.
It can get you in trouble. I
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
It can.
Can it really? Can it really?
It can get you in trouble.
Those
Well,
are pretty stout
good-
Jello shots.
Good words to live by. Dollar Jello shots. They can get you in trouble.
Relax, enjoy the difference at Classic Galveston.
Hi, I'm Howie Bentley, owner of Classic Auto Group Galveston, inviting you to the classic way of doing business, which means the customer always comes first. Need service after the sale? We've got you covered with our service parts and body shop. Let us cater to your needs the classic way, island style. Visit us at ClassicGalveston.com.
Classic Galveston, enjoy the difference, island style.
Oh, hell. How about a love song? There ain't nothing in the world that I like better than bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the morning, out in the garden. Get you a ripe one, do not get a hard one. Plant them in the spring, eat them in the summer. All winter without them's a culinary bummer. I forget all about the sweating and digging every time I go out and pick me a big one. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. I'll pick it, guy. You can go out to eat, that's for sure, but it's nothing a homegrown tomato won't cure. Put 'em in a salad, put 'em in a stew, make your very own tomato juice. You can eat 'em with eggs, eat 'em with gravy, eat 'em with beans, pinto or navy. Put 'em on the side, put 'em in the middle, put a homegrown tomato on a hot cake griddle. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What'd life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes. I've eyes to change this life I lead. I'd be Johnny Tomato Seed, 'cause I know what this country needs. It's homegrown tomatoes in every yard you see. But when I die, don't bury me in a box in a cemetery. Out in the garden would be much better. I could be pushing up homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. without homegrown tomatoes. Only two things that money can't buy. That's true love and homegrown tomatoes. Homegrown tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. What life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy. And that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
Well, it's 7:45 on Friday morning. He just crawled out of bed. He stayed too long at the chicken again, and he's got an aching head. He's got an 8 o'clock at Heldon Fells. His prof speaks Japanese. The went broke on beer and Mr. Bill's. Now he lives on bread and cheese. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and he just don't give a damn that he's got 3 parking tickets and he's on Scope Pro again. But the bonfire's built and Varsky's horns and out right off his head. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and it will be till he's dead. Well, it's Wednesday morning at Jolly Raleigh, his sports pass in his hand. He's been waiting 3 days in the blazing sun just to be with his 12th man. But after fumbles and interceptions, he takes his girlfriend's hand. But the game don't mean a thing to her, she's just there to see the band. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and he just don't give a damn that he's got 6 parking tickets and he's on Scope Pro again. But the bonfire's built and Varsky's orange and it's out right off his head. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and it will be till he's dead. Well, he goes down to the Dixie Chicken. He's dug in his ring tonight. He's there at 6:30, thought it'd be early, but there ain't a table inside. So he buys his pitcher anyway, and he drops his ring on in, singing the road goes on forever, and the party never ends. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and he just don't give a damn that he's got 9 parking tickets, and he's on Scope Pro again. But the bonfire's built and Varsky's horns and it's out right off his head. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and it will be till he's dead. Well, it's 1 o'clock and goodnight Irene is blaring through the place. He parked about 50 blocks away, so he ain't got time to waste. When he finally makes it to his car, he stands up on his feet. He says, boys, let's head to Taco Cabana. I think I need something to eat. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and he just don't give a damn that he's got 12 parking tickets and he's on Scope Pro again. But the bonfire's built and Varsky's orange, but it's out right off his head. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and it will be till he's dead. Well, he picks up a battalion just to see what's going on. But all he finds to read about is what we're doing wrong. This school's too damn conservative, I guess they want us to be. like all the hippies down in Austin, wearing orange and sipping tea. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and he just don't give a damn that he's got 12 parking tickets and he's on school broke in. But the bonfire's built and Barcy's orange up it's all right off his head. He's a fighting Texas Aggie, and he will be till he's dead. Yeah, I've been going out every night. I having a ball coming home about 1:45. Oh, you said that you'd be leaving if you didn't start seeing a change in me really soon. You said it's getting really old and that you wanna be told that I ain't a drinking no more. Well now, honey, here it goes. Better listen close before you go walking out the door. I ain't a drinking anymore. Oh, that's what you want me to say. I ain't a drinking anymore. Guess you finally got your way. Nope, I ain't a drinking not a one beer. That's what you want to hear, but honey, I must confess I ain't a drinking anymore, but I ain't drinking any less. I got lit the other night, yeah, I got in a fight. The police had me down on the ground. They were putting on the cuffs, they really roughed me up. They said, boy, we're taking you down. Before he read my rights, he said, take my advice. Don't let me catch you drinking no more. I said, officer, please let me go, and I won't do it anymore. Come on, let me go home. I ain't a drinking anymore. Oh, now if that's what you want me to say. I ain't a drinking anymore. Guess you finally got your way. Nope, I ain't a drinking not a one beer. That's what you want to hear, but honey, I must confess I ain't a drinking anymore, but I ain't drinking any less. I ain't a drinking anymore. Oh, now if that's what you want me to say. I ain't a drinking anymore. Guess you finally got your way. Nope, I ain't a drinking not a one beer. That's what you want to hear, but honey, I must confess I ain't a drinking anymore, but I ain't drinking any less. No, I ain't a drinking anymore, but I ain't drinking any less.
Damn, you wrote the notes on it.
I had to. That's how you learn. It's not in tune. I told you it's not in
It doesn't have to be. I can figure it out.
tune. As long as they're all out of tune equally, I guess it's in tune. It's in some kind of tuning.
It can be A minor 7th or something like that.
You never know. Just play the one string and play it well, like Lincoln Durham does.
Yeah.
So that was for you, Sarah. That last song.
I'm pretty sure that was about my Friday night.
Yeah, that was about your Friday night. We all make mistakes where we drink a little too much
And say some
stuff.
things that we don't mean.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
It happens
it
to
happens.
everybody. Happens to everybody. Even the people that listen to this show.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Probably, especially.
Oh, well, yeah. I do apologize.
We should have. I should have asked if we could get some people to call in to the show
Well, yeah.
and be guests. But I'm really thinking about this idea where we just
Have call-ins.
have a segment
Yeah.
of the show where I just call like, "Hey, you up?"
We
then
can
people
call
would-
random
that would
people.
be
We have
fun.
lots of people's
We
phone
could
numbers.
call-
You know, all our people that we know are should be up at this hour. All the people I
True.
know.
We could just call them and harass them like,
could.
"Hey, you're on the air."
You probably have
I'm
a few phone
actually
numbers.
leaving here to go to a meeting with Adam McFarland.
Oh, really?
And all those people that are
Wow.
up at this hour.
Well, I'm only up this hour. I went for probably a good solid year without having to be awake at this hour, and then all of a sudden I'm busy again. I got this show and then music, and It's a good problem to have, though.
Oh,
but,
no. I kind of had to shift my schedules around as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I've dropped the ball a few weeks in a row now. And one is you're listening to this show courtesy of KTXF The Real, which is part of the Sports Music Network, Texas Sports. I got to write that down. Anyway.
Yeah, Texas Sports Network.
Yeah, there you go.
We have stations in Dallas.
They've got a whole bunch
Houston.
They got a whole bunch of shows, sports shows. So add this if you're listening live now on KTXF. Just go ahead and hit the favorite button. Make the station your favorite because they got a lot of cool stuff coming. All kinds of sports and gun shows and you name it. They got all.
You
kinds
name
of
it,
stuff.
they have it.
Yeah.
And then this show is also podcast on pretty much every platform that is out there.
iHeartRadio, iTunes,
yeah,
everywhere.
So you can pick us up and listen to us wherever you may be driving down the road and stuck in traffic.
There you go. It's a good show to listen to in traffic. So my guitar
might piss you off a little bit. But.
Yeah, my guitar player Kevin has major road rage. I mean, he's the nicest guy you ever meet, but on the road, it's just humorous. It's hilarious. So I wanted to make up a fake name with him, and we check in with him once a week while he's driving. And just start recording him. And,
we can do that
that's a
all
great
day
idea.
long.
And then we can just play clips on the show later because he is so dang funny. But I even thought about maybe having a camera that's back here where you can't really see his face because he doesn't want to lose his job. But see his face kind of just so he's there. But just so you can see, oh man, he gets so angry. But it's
there's a GoPro
so
in
funny.
his future. Trust me.
It is so funny to watch. So funny to watch.
That's a great idea.
The other thing that we dropped the ball on is we haven't checked in with Texas Music Pickers in a while or Key Music News.
Certainly.
And we'd like to do that because I appreciate what they're doing for people, especially Texas Music Pickers who they get in on the bottom floor and they pick the people they follow people and help people that haven't already made it, and they kind of like to get in there.
Well,
so what do you got over there, Randy?
They do that, and they also report on Spotify, and their stream on Spotify has the Texas Red Dirt and Texas country music kind of pickers and stuff in their top 20 list. And there's everybody from Shotgun Rider and Cody Johnson who just sold out the
way to steal my thunder. Look what I got on my
Oh,
phone
yeah,
already.
I know. Well, I'll let you have that one then. But he's number 2, and Shotgun Rider with Me and a Memory is number 1 on the Spotify thing this week. Parker McCallum, Cole Wetzel, Casey Donahue, Curtis Grimes, Turnpike Troubadours is on there, which we were talking about earlier. Aaron Watson, Wade Bowen, Mike Ryan, and you know all these guys.
Yeah. So have you look up who's on their poll this week?
Oh, I haven't looked up that one yet.
Look up their poll. And I'll read
devices.
this little. I'll read this little ditty from Key Music News.
Yeah,
who,
for sure.
Pretty much everybody in the Texas music scene's already heard by now.
Katie's doing a great job. She's got a full-time day job, and that takes a lot from her, and she's still producing some great content for Texas music. So
she's keeping up with what she started with a long time ago. But so this is her little. That's so demeaning. Sorry about that, Katie. Here is her post that she put on Key Music News, basically congratulating Cody Johnson. He's the very first independent, unsigned artist to ever sell out HLSR and NRG Stadium, and that's pretty dang awesome.
You know how many of that people.
I just want to see a copy of that check stub. I want to see what it looks like. Like, how much money does that equate to? Because
$30 a head times 100,000.
Yeah, I think it's a little more than $30 a head.
I think it's a lot more than 30.
Well, on average.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, because some people get them for free.
Yeah, I mean,
but no, that has to be big. And Sarah, and every guest that I've had in here, pretty much remembers that the good old days where it was
he was playing
just
at
Cody
Tuts.
Come to Tuts and
Corner Pub. He used to come in to.
Yep.
But he is an unsigned artist. He does not have a major label backing him.
Nope. He has great
He
management.
just sold out the largest venue available to an artist in the 4th largest city in the United States on a weeknight.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Gives me hope.
It's you never know, man.
I mean, that doesn't happen. And that's what we were talking about with this.
He had
good
Good
management.
management.
Produce.
Mm-hmm.
Put it out there. Get your fan base all of those things that we were talking about with the music business. How do you do it? That's the example right there.
Yeah, I mean,
follow his lead.
If it's done right and you got the right team behind you, nobody is good enough to do it on their own. Nobody. No. And a lot of people throw that phrase around a lot. I've heard a lot of Texas artists like, we did it on our own.
No.
Your team did. I mean, yes, your team did. But you as an individual artist, there's no way that you've done it on your own. You're not in control of all your social medias and your booking, and there eventually is not enough hours in the day. So you have help. And those people, management is huge. Booking companies are big. Like, you've got to have the right people in play to get you in the right spaces and the right faces and the right income opportunities to finance this, to do the next thing so that you can stay on the radio. It all ties together. But
it's crazy.
That's why I wanted to have you here, because I totally respect the role of a band manager. I also respect the role of someone who books, and you do both.
I do both.
Yeah, so, and already there's probably not enough hours in a day but just you doing both. And then try to be the band that comes up with new music and new material and rehearses it and goes, does all the driving and setting up and performing. And I mean, there's no one person that can do it by himself. That's basically the thing I'm saying. So the team is what's the most important.
It's a team effort for sure.
And Cody is a great example of how the team worked well. And that team also consisted of other artists with Cody. Right. Because one thing Howie did, and I'm saying it as an observer, not as a biographer. I don't know what everybody did, but from what I saw him do, just from the outside looking in, was when Cody came out with his first album, I think it was when he came out with his second album and he was starting to get really good success on the radio. At the exact same time, Howie was putting Cody out there with Roger. Every single show, and putting him in front of that. So while the rest of us are out getting 15 fans, trying to turn 5 of them into a super fan overnight, Cody's getting to play for hundreds, if not thousands of people every single night, put on a hell of a show, because he does do that, and turning so that your percentages are higher. So he's building a bigger fan base at a time, because Howie was smart enough to say, okay, we're going to put you in front of Roger every single night. Your songs are doing well on the radio. People are going to be able to associate you really quick with I heard that guy on the radio, and he puts on a good show, and he's good enough to be with Roger Creager. So all those three things happen, and they did that for a solid year at least. And Cody just went from being a guy that had a single on the radio to he's giving Roger a run for his money.
Right.
And then, Roger's like, I'm buying a plane and I'm going to Mexico. No, but so it was but it all came down to a really good strategy by the management of what they knew where they wanted to get, and they had a vision of how to get there, and then they had the courage and the balls to just go for it and do it their way. And it's working out.
It's working great.
And the phone number to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
You got to have that too. I mean, well, and you got to be able to answer the call. I mean, Cody last year got that last minute call for a cancellation, and they were able to say yes.
Yes.
So
that
helped.
That was the huge thing when he could say, "Okay, yes, I can come and do this."
I don't think there's another show on my books that would say, no, we can't. We're already booked here.
He probably stiffed somebody. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Somebody probably got screwed, and that's good.
And he probably made good with them. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, occasionally as a musician or a performer, you have to, make a choice. And it's a hard choice. I mean, do you have somebody you're going to play for 1,000 people in a room, or are you going to play, Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo?
Yeah, it's not even a question.
In front of at least 50,000 plus people, on a bad night, you're going to go there.
Right, absolutely.
And you're going to make amends, and you're going to do a good business decision and say, hey, I'll make it up. I'll play 2 shows for you, or whatever the case may be.
Right. Well, most venue owners probably, if you're in good standing with them, would just totally understand it. Like, hey,
yeah,
dude,
most of them,
I'm not flaky.
Anybody he's playing for goes, I got a dude, go ahead. Yeah. You can make it up to me later on. I love you.
I'm not normally flaky, but, there's this thing called NRG Stadium, and, they asked if I'd play it, and I told them, yeah.
I hope Caleb's not tuned in right now.
Play.
We got a call a few months ago from Green Hall wanting us to open up for a huge act, a sold out show, and a massive show. And we had a gig booked already, and I told her, I can't make this call on my own. I've got to call Caleb, because ultimately it's his name that's canceling a show.
Right.
It's his name that's canceling, and we already have people coming to the show, and it's,
Certainly.
I couldn't get he wouldn't pick up the phone. I could not get him on the line, and I passed up this Greenhall show, and he hasn't let me live it down.
Well, but you know what?
You made the right choice.
Yeah,
because it was his decision to do
honor
that as a performer.
honor and integrity are the most important things in this. You burn bridges, and that's the thing that there was. I'll give you kind of an example. Similar was we were booked to play this bar. We'll call it. Well, no, we shithole is a term of endearment, right? So we were playing this really
a dive
bar, and it was really cheap. I think we were getting like $400, and I had a 6-piece band, so it wasn't going very far. And it wasn't like a great bar. 4-hour gig, you're going there. People would rather, hey, turn it down, man. I can't hear the dart thing go beep, beep, beep when I hit a bullseye, And I was just like, ugh. But we were scheduled to play there. And all of a sudden, Tumbleweed, Texas gives me a call and says, hey, do you want to come open for, I think it was Jason Boland. And I had never opened for a big name at that point. That would have been the first time I got to open for like someone that I knew was out there, and it was Jason Boland. And I told him, man, I've already got this other gig. He's like, well, they got plenty of time. They could reschedule. Man, this is a good opportunity for you. It's like, I know it is. I love Jason Boland. He's a huge influence in my music. I would love to do it, but I just can't break my word with this bar. And he's like, I understand. We'll get you another date. So that goes off. We show up to the show, and we set up. And about an hour after we set up, this band trailer pulls up, and they start backing in. And they had double booked the show. And I was like, son of a bitch. I totally could have bailed on that gig. And so we were already set up, and luckily my bass player was a bigger jerk than their guy that was negotiating terms. And they were like, y'all got to go. We're scheduled to play. Y'all got to go. We're like, we're not going. We're already set up. Like, our gear's up. You're late to the party. Bye. And so we went to the back room and we negotiated. We ended up, each band got $200 for the effort. And then we stayed and played, I think, or I can't remember what happened. But either way, I didn't get to open for Jason Boland. Every good deed no good deed goes unpunished.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but integrity is an important thing, because even though I had to tell that guy no, he saw where my line of integrity was, and so even though I didn't get to play his venue, he still knew that I was a guy he could call and he could trust me.
Yeah, if you were available and you weren't previously engaged in a business transaction, you could go forward just like you do in business every day in a retail center, and that I do in my business. I'm not going to double book. I'm not going to, I might stretch a little bit, I might, fudge 30 minutes on when I get there.
Or you can play Zigfest for 30 minutes and then go play another show later that night.
Yeah, exactly. You've done this. We've all done those things, and all bands do, and you just have to. It's that management.
You made the right call. What we're trying to say is you made
the right call.
You made the right call.
You made the right call. Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Long way
Caleb,
around.
if you're listening.
Caleb, if you're listening.
Your integrity's intact.
I'll tell him that to his face. Yeah, I don't really,
Thanks to Sarah, you still have an integrity and decency.
Certainly, and they're. Yeah, I mean, these guys are on their way
I know.
to Never Land. I mean, and they know it. I mean, they're all still real humble guys. I mean,
that's part of why everybody loves them. They're down to earth,
they're cool,
awesome guys.
Yeah, they're very cool guys.
Yeah,
you want a Bud Light Roger Krager pick?
Sure.
Yeah, say that. Say sure.
Sure.
It's just sitting here. I was like, huh.
Yeah, only you have those laying around.
Yeah,
I
just happen to have.
Yeah, a little Roger Krager pick. Here you go. Yeah, you got some Ray Riley Hubbard stuff running around. Fingernails or something.
No, I do have a. Oh man, I have Dadgummit, I'll tell you later.
Okay, because I mean, I can
Billy Joe Shaver's capo.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I have.
Yeah, Billy Joe Shaver's capo. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
He calls it a guitar choker, by the way.
Yeah, a guitar choker.
Yeah. Have you heard that story?
I have not heard that story.
So here's how I came to get the guitar choker. We were playing RCC, Redneck Country Club. We were opening for Billy Joe Shaver. Well, we go out and we start playing. I forgot to grab my capo out of my bag. And so we start playing, and I looked at Corey, my keyboard player. I said, hey, I forgot my capo. And he's like, I'll go get you one. I was like, all right. So he just leaves in the middle of the song. So he walks to the back, and there's Billy Joe Shaver sitting in the green room. And he goes, and Corey doesn't know what he looks like. Corey's just Corey. And he goes, hey, does anybody have a capo? Josh forgot to grab his capo. And so Billy Joe Shaver goes, you mean a guitar choker? And he's like, whatever you want to call it, I need it. And he goes, here you go. And he goes, I'll bring it right back to you. He goes, you tell him he can keep that one. And so we played the show, and I still got it.
It's
pretty awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I've been on stage and, in studio with a bunch of guys, and it's like, yeah, guitars, and, whatever the hell you need, just take it. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, just have fun.
That's cool. I'll take
I got more. I'm like,
I'll take a platinum album and a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
I'll take one of those 500 million copies you've sold of albums you've played on.
Whatever you think your next hit will be, just say I wrote it. Let's just go with that.
Yeah.
That's my next thing. I'm gonna start writing for other people. So if Caleb wants me to write him a song, let me know.
Okay.
I can try.
Yeah, you need to do that. You write some good songs, man. You really do. I mean,
I write for other people better. I think I can write better for other people than I could myself because I don't have to sing it. I can just write whatever, Yeah,
it's just words on a piece of paper, man.
The other night, someone tipped me. Someone tipped me the other night at open mic night to try to sing "Single Ladies" by Beyonce, and I did. And I ended up making it sound good and sexy. It's pretty cool.
I don't even know that damn song because I don't know. I've never listened to a Beyonce song.
Well, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. You've heard it.
Yeah. No.
You heard it.
No. Honestly,
it's on. It's on this. I saw it. It's on your playlist.
But doesn't mean I. No. That's my album.
Easy. Yeah.
But doesn't mean it's on my playlist. There's about 600 songs that are on my playlist that are in my car that I listen to all the time.
Right.
And it ranges. I mean, there's a great range of what I like to listen to, but Beyonce is not one of them.
I think that one's on my playlist, but I'll blame it on my kids, on my girls.
Yeah. No, my daughter, who is 20 years old, and we've gone to Bonnaroo, and we've done a lot of music things together over the years. Beyonce is just not even on her list.
Oh yeah.
No, I've never heard it.
That song was the jam, man.
It was the jam.
Back in the day.
My kids are listening. I guarantee they're dancing. They're up dancing right now.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad song.
It's got beat. There you go.
You can throw in some Taylor Swift and some of those songs. I know all of those, and
right.
All songs like that from Taylor. I know those because my 7-year-old knows all of those and gets me to play them in the studio at the house. And
well, that's what happens when you have kids. Your musical palette is increased.
Yes.
By a lot.
Certainly, and I enjoy that. And that's the fun thing about it. You get to experience new things in music, from different generations and well, it's not just different generations, but like you might bring something in and you might say something from an artist that you might know that we don't or whatever. I mean, as long as you have an open conversation about music and who's doing what and how, and I learn a lot from Josh every time. I mean,
I don't know how you can learn anything from me. I'm just kind of here.
Well, everybody. I mean, it doesn't matter if I'm hanging out in, BFE or in Nashville or wherever I'm doing whatever I'm doing. I just try to take in, as much music as possible. I mean, we were up in Nashville and we were doing some recording sessions and all of that, and we'd go to, we were staying in an RV. The production crew was, we got, relegated to, stay in the campground. And but there was a great place that had live music every night of the week, over there by the way out in the boondocks, but they had live music, and we'd go listen to the local artist or whoever they were from wherever they were. And you learn a lot. You know, you get to hear other perspectives and other people's talents come in.
And you should always be trying to learn something from everybody around you. I mean, that's just kind of how it is.
I mean, regardless of the style of music or what they're playing, it can be heavy metal, it can be rock and roll, it can be whatever, you know, Texas country.
I like it all, man.
Yeah.
I
don't
too.
really care.
It's music.
Yeah.
I like it all.
It's music. It's fun. It's
Well, and we all got the
something to
same
learn.
dream. It's whether you can put a label on it, but everybody out there doing the music just wants to be as successful as they possibly can and have as many people hear their music as they can, you know? So it doesn't really matter what the label you put on it. I don't really like the labels thing anyway. I admit I'm a hypocrite in that regard, though, because I have a very specific mindset for what Texas country means to me and Texas music means to me. Texas country, I think, was back in the late 90s, in the 2000s,
Certainly.
all that stuff. Like that was the Texas country just uprising right there. And then the rest, then you have your Texas music that engulfs it all. But other than that, I just don't, no labels other than that. I don't care.
Well, I just take it as music.
Yeah.
Because everybody, and I have friends and people I've met over the years and all over the world that regardless of what they play, they're making music and
Right.
they're trying to make an impact on somebody's life or, you know, express their story the best way they can as an artist. And that's truly what, you know, music is. It's an art.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can make a buck off of that and bring it, you know, and make a living off of that, that's something special. I mean, and it's not an easy thing. I mean, it's brutal. I have played, you know, busker stuff on the streets of Frankfurt with a buddy of mine, you know, with a guitar and a tambourine in the streets of Frankfurt, you know, back in the 80s. And we made enough just playing on the streets and, you know, for, you know, whatever somebody drop in the guitar case for, you know, pay the hotel room and pay for our weekend. And, you know, that's awesome. I mean,
no, it's great.
It's not something you can necessarily do in the U.S., except maybe in New York and stuff with, you know, but you got to pay taxes on that crap here. But anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. But those types of experiences and what music means to people just walking by.
Yeah. Well, music plays a way bigger role in people's lives than they even know.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason there's music being played in every restaurant, every shop, anywhere. There's music being played everywhere because it stimulates you.
It's certainly.
Yeah. It's just,
Or it makes a memory.
right. But it makes you spend more money, or it makes you happy, or it makes you sad on purpose.
Oh,
Why are you smiling over there? You're like, yeah, I play music in my store because people buy more stuff.
I play your music in my store.
Yeah. see?
Yeah, you
I
play
heard
a
you
bunch
still
of
have
Texas-
those 3 CDs I gave you to sell.
I do.
You
Back
need
to how I
sell
can't sell
those.
music. It ain't her job. People can walk in and be like, I don't know who that dude is. I ain't buying his music. But no, seriously, people, you can.
But
take
your
it.
CDs
no,
aren't
I don't
in
want
buckets.
take it. No, my car don't even have a CD player. What?
I have you. I have some Dan Scott, and I have some Caleb and
There you go.
tomatoes.
That's all you
That's
need.
all you need.
That's all you need in life.
That's it. But if you've gone into a Buc-ee's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they have the Texas country
Yeah.
music
Country.
shelf,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, I don't think they move.
No. I've bought some in there before.
Well, no,
on
I've-
road trips, stopped
Yeah.
in and bought something to listen to.
I almost went with the company as a distribution label that does those, that stocks those, and I couldn't remember the last time I'd bought a CD, and I just didn't think it was worth it. I didn't think it's more of a prestige thing, like, hey, my stuff's in Buc-ee's, but
I almost sold. Back to my days of crafting.
yeah.
They used to come through the trade shows up in Canton and pick up people.
Yeah.
I almost put my stuff in Buc-ee's too.
Well, that
Before
Well-
I got burned out.
yeah.
Well, it's a great
could have been good.
It's a great retail chain that does a lot of good stuff. I mean, come on. It's the best gas station on
It
earth.
is.
I mean, come on. You go
Beaver
into Buc-ee's,
nuggets.
you know.
Yes, we got to stop.
You go there for the bathrooms, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do this. Those are the cleanest restrooms on earth that I've ever been into. I've been all over the world, and I mean, I've been to 100 countries and stuff. Those are the cleanest bathrooms I've ever been in.
That new car wash they put in Katy is kind of cool.
I haven't been there
but
yet.
it's a long car.
No, that's the second one they did. The first one they did was up on off of 290 up in Cypress.
Well, the one in Katy is the one that they're touting as the world record holder.
Yeah, it is.
And
but
it was nice.
they modeled that off of their
the other one.
Yeah.
So it's
off their 290 store
100
in
yards,
Cypress.
100 yards long.
Wow.
And they have they call it a laser light show. It's not a laser light show necessarily, but it's a light show. And they have so when the suds are on your car, they have different colored lights that hit it, so it all glows and so don't go during the daytime. If you're gonna go car wash your car,
go at
Buc-ee's
night.
and Katy, go at night.
Go at night.
And it even starts with their logo right in there on your windshield.
Mm-hmm.
Like they project their logo on your windshield. It's weird, man. It's trippy.
Buc-ee's is
trippy
gone
vibes, man. Totally
off
trippy
the hook.
vibes.
Learned something tonight, guys.
And supposedly there's going to be a Buc-ee's on 45, not too far from your house.
See, here's my only complaint about Buc-ee's. Is Buc-ee's was really cool when there were very few
when
of
there
them.
was, yeah.
True.
But they're everywhere. It takes away the whole...
The one on the
Allure.
way.
Well,
the
no,
one
wait,
on your way to New
no.
Braunfels.
Let's quantify that. What we consider Buc-ee's being everywhere, there's 100+ miles between any Buc-ee's.
That's true, but in Texas, 100
In Texas,
miles is like...
that is like a commute for us, but for the rest of the country, that's like, holy shit, that's a long way away.
That's like having one in each state up in the Northeast. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have to quantify that.
Yeah, well, you got a point there, but it was really weird. Like, you took 10, you could hit that Buc-ee's on your way to San Antonio, or you take 240 or 290 and hit the one on the way to Austin or whatever. And then now you got everywhere. They're just everywhere. But then you'd go back to down by Victoria and all that, and then they have like Victoria gas stations or Buc-ee's gas stations that are just like
Little.
a Valero. Yeah.
Well, the good Lord, out on 105, 290, going towards Austin, there used to be, it's still a gas station. It's still a really small Buc-ee's.
Right.
And I can't remember the name of the town for the life of me, and I should know it. Railroad tracks there, and it's a crossroad. You can go to LaGrange from there and all of that, and I don't know why I can't remember the name of that little town, but it's like the smallest Buc-ee's now.
Okay.
And it's a gas station still.
How about that?
Learned something.
Not like the one outside of San Antonio, and because that thing has 100+ gas pumps.
Okay, so we talked about Buc-ee's.
Change the subject, please.
Well, no, I was going to say,
No,
while
it needs
we're
to.
talking about Buc-ee's, we might as well knock out a few other questions, like Whataburger or tacos? Which one do you get if you only got $10 left after you paid your bar tab?
La Palma.
Tacos?
Yes.
Yeah. It depends what time of the day it is, because I'll go to...
it's got La Palma. You got to go.
yeah.
I haven't been there. I don't think
No,
I've
La
been
Palma's
there.
awesome.
Where is that?
Well, tomorrow night after you play Yard House, hit La Palma. It's right there.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Easy enough. Easy peasy.
Although they probably feed you. I'm sure they
I never
take
eat. I never eat there.
They got good food.
I know they got great food, but I usually get there, sound check, smoke a cigar, play a show, and then my breaks are just kind of sporadic. So
We'll
I
grab
don't,
you some tacos when you leave.
I will. I might. Now their pork cracklings at Pacific Yard House are all awesome.
I haven't had
Yeah.
those.
They pop like they come out and they're like literally popping like pop rocks, and you put them in your mouth and they start popping in your mouth. It's the craziest thing, but they are spicy.
Oh, those sound great.
I love them. They're good. So I have had those, and then I've had.
All their food's good
Yeah,
there.
they got great food.
They got great food. They got great music. They
got
got
great
great
people.
people.
Yeah?
I'm trying.
You're doing well. You're
they've got
doing well.
me.
You've made amends. But there's
it
a
is
bunch
a
of
great
great
place.
places in and around Conroe. A couple of weeks ago, we had the big car show or truck show over here in Conroe, Lone Star Throwdown, and everybody had meat. I'm like, don't get me wrong. You can go down, the local restaurants and stuff, but they're going to be really busy. So go out, go down 105 a little bit and go grab you something.
Right. There's some good stuff out that way too.
Leja's
Yes.
Mexican restaurant. It's a little dive on the right-hand side of 105. Let me tell you what, I've been eating there since before they had that building. They are awesome. I mean, it's really good, authentic Mexican food, and it's wonderful, and it's cheap. And then you
Cheap.
Cheapo. But it's really good food, and they're good people, and you will enjoy it. And if they're open when you leave Conroe going that way, stop in there. They'll feed you really well. And then if you go a little further, there's some barbecue joints out there that are just off the hook good, and
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, there's some really good ones that started off on a shed on the other side of the road.
Nice.
We'll try to get them as a sponsor, so I won't say their name.
Sponsors.
Well, we've reached the end of our night.
Oh crap!
How about that?
That went fast.
It went by really fast.
Tell us about your store.
Oh, it's downtown Conroe, across the street from Crichton Theater, Cowtown Couture, women's boutique, clothes, shoes, jewelry, accessories,
all that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
Anything couture.
Well, just clothes. Your average clothes. I got the spring line out right now. You could come buy a Josh Fuller CD there.
Certainly.
Yeah,
you can.
And it's Texas country kind of, it's got all of that feel, right?
Yes.
So it's couture. I know you said some people don't know what that means.
So, next time you're in downtown Conroe, come see me. Go get some food at Yard House and
come by the store.
Come by the store and see me.
Certainly.
Check out some bands. There's Folk Families playing Corner Pub Saturday night.
Ooh,
with John Evans.
Really?
John Evans and Folk Family Saturday night for St. Patrick's Day, Corner Pub.
Shit, I'll be there. I didn't know that. Y'all good. I mean, we'll come out and do that one. That's for sure. Because I know all those guys from, like I said, way back.
Yeah. Good times.
Did you figure out where the next button is?
No, I was trying something. There's a certain thing that I like to do called audio branding, where you do the same thing every time, and I can't find the daggone track, so the ending will be a little different tonight.
That's all good, brother. That's all good. Maybe. Thank you for joining us, Sarah.
Yes, thanks for being here.
I had fun.
Thanks. We'll see y'all next week, and if you want to listen live, remember you can go to KTXF on the TuneIn app.
Or you can tune in on any of the web podcast platforms out there. I lost a word. I've been in radio for 30 years and I lost a word. Podcast platforms. Yes, that's it. Out there, just Google search Josh Fuller.
Yeah, good idea. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Enjoy the difference at Classic Galveston.
Hi, I'm Howie Bentley, owner of Classic Auto Group Galveston, inviting you to the classic way of doing business, which means the customer always comes first. Need service after the sale? We've got you covered with our service parts and body shop. Let us cater to your needs the classic way, island style. Visit us at ClassicGalveston.com.
Classic Galveston, enjoy the difference, island style.
Bye, y'all.